Watch this. 1.5 million Armenians in 1915. Everyone knows that the Nazis killed 6 million in statistics from the last 100 years. That no man deceive you. And he goes on to outline what will happen in Earth's history. Let me give you some staggering statistics from the last 100 years. These lights are hot. Some staggering statistics from the last 100 years. The last 100 years have been known as the century of mass murder. Starting with the Ottoman Turkish Empire slaughtering 1.5 million Armenians in 1915. Now these are, when I say this is the century of mass murders, these are mass murders that are government or sanctioned by the populace, by the masses of the people. These are not the mass murders that happened from a crack war in Los Angeles. We'll get to that. But this is government-sanctioned warfare against entire people groups. Watch this. 1.5 million Armenians in 1915. Everyone knows that the Nazis killed 6 million Jews. But are you aware that they murdered 3 million Russian prisoners of war? Not only that, they killed 2 million Poles, or people from Poland, and hundreds of thousands of homosexuals, Africans, gypsies, people who they did not think was worthy of being a part of the superior Aryan race and the Third Reich, as Adolf Hitler describes in his book Mein Kampf. Everyone was annihilated. But that was just them. The Soviet Union. Stalin is responsible for murdering 20 million Russians. 20 million Russians. 20 million Russians. Assimilated of all of the Jewry of Europe. The same thing is true about the German Jew. The Jews of Germany were the most assimilated of all of the Jewry of Europe. Yet somehow, some way, you can take a mother and somehow she can be transformed from a nurturing, loving advocate for a child and be turned into a club-wielding beast. What happens that a good person with seemingly good morals, someone who has a track record of doing good things, what happens that good people can turn so evil? To get deeper into this, I read this book, The Lucifer Effect. It's a book by Philip Zimbardo, and in fact, after reading the book, normally I'd say to you, I recommend the book. I don't recommend this book. Not because it's not a good book, but because it's such a dark book. It is spiritually dark, and of course, because of the history it recounts, it is a dark, dark book. But a book that helps us understand what will happen in the last days, that will transform a country like the United States of America from a country of freedom, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. How could America go from that to a country where people could actually be tortured, where people could actually be mistreated, mishandled, not because they did anything wrong, but simply because of who they are? Or even worse, who we think they are. Zimbardo, a former president of the American Psychological Association. Over 400 articles published by this man who wrote this book. Still, I believe, at Stanford University, even now as a professor, describes the